Okay, students, so we are now recording. I'm going to go ahead and get started with Inventor. We will be creating a variety of parts using this tool. Okay, let me go ahead and share my screen. All right. So when you first open Inventor, it looks something like this. All right. And you will be doing this next week. So I'm going to go File, select New, and I have to select the appropriate units. In this case, for this homework assignment, I can pick whatever units I wish. I'm going to pick English units. And after I pick my units, I could have picked metric also. I'm going to pick standard IPT. And again, you don't have access to this yet. Some of you might, some of you may not have access to this yet. Standard IPT, IPT means inventor part file, okay? IPT stands for inventor part file. And that's the way you have to do this first. You have to start off by making a part, and then you can make a drawing, okay? You have to start off by making a part, and then you can make a drawing from the part. So that's why I'm selecting standard IPT. And I'm going to select create. All right, my good friends, here we go. Now, before you can make a 3D model, you have to make a two-dimensional sketch. And the two-dimensional sketch has to be a closed profile. Like, for example, a rectangle is a closed profile, right? Circle is a closed profile. In other words, you cannot have any open spaces. You cannot have any open spaces in your sketch. You also cannot have a line superimposed on top of another line. Okay. All right. So let me get started here. I gave you a handout for my online students. The handout will be available to you as well. All right. I will post this in Canvas, and all my dual enrollment students will have access to Inventor by Tuesday. All right, there's 8 problems on this worksheet. I'm not going to make the drawings today. I'm just going to make the 3D models, because if I try to make the drawings, we'll be in here for a good while, okay? And I have to kind of estimate the dimensions. Now, some of you folks will be drawing these by hand, and some of you may feel like you want to do these in Inventor once you get access. If you want to do them in Inventor, Mr. Morris is not going to penalize you, okay? All right, so I have to make a sketch first. So I go up here at the top left-hand corner. You have to make a sketch first, start 2D sketch, and then select start 2D sketch. When this happens, again, you'll have access to this video. You'll notice there's 3 planes that appear. If I hover over this plane, it's the XY plane. If I hover over this plane, it's the YZ plane. And likewise, if I hover over this one, it's the XZ plane. They all intersect at the axes and also at the origin, okay? Now, it's your call. You can choose whatever plane that you wish to choose. Mr. Morris, I usually start off by selecting the frontal plane. I like to draw the front view first. For some reason, that's just me. All right, now when you do this, notice down the lower left-hand corner, this is called the UCS icon. It's really the XYZ axis. All right, it's telling you the direction of the XYZ axis. This vertical line that you see right here, this is the y-axis. Mr. Morris, how do I know that this is the y-axis? Because if you look over here and look at the UCS icon, you see a green arrow with the letter Y indicates this is the y-axis. The red indicates the horizontal line is the x-axis. All right. Now, sometimes it's okay to start out having your origin at the center of the screen. But let's say I want to move the origin down here. If you hold down the scroll wheel and move your mouse, look what happens. I can pan around. You hold down the scroll wheel on your mouse and you can move your mouse. And for example, I'm going to put my origin right there. Okay. Now, I'm going to model problem 1. I don't have any dimensions to work from, but I'm going to just sketch it. You know, it's just a rough sketch. Okay. Now, CAD software packages are very accurate. So when you hand sketch, you know, we're just trying to get the idea across. When you're using Inventor, it have to be exact dimensions. All right. So I'm going to start off with line. Here's the line command. I'm going to click on, you hit the left mouse button to click on line, and then click on line again. And I'm going to take problem number 1. I'm going to look, when I move my cursor near the origin, it turns green. What that means is that the cursor is snapping to the origin. It's like it's being anchored right there at the origin. So I'm going to click and I'm going to drag up my line. Now I'm going to make my own dimensions as I go along. So I'm going to make this maybe 1 inch. All right. Enter. All right. Now I notice on problem 1, the top step is actually an incline. It's not perfectly a horizontal. It's right. It's at a slight incline. So I'm going to do the same thing. And notice it gives me a dimension and an angular dimension that I can modify here. So I'm going to go ahead and make this dimension, I don't know, 0.125. And then I'm going to hit my tab key. And let's say I'm going to make that angle 60 degrees. And then I'm going to enter. All right. Now I can zoom out. If you want to zoom out while you're drawing, you just rotate the scroll wheel to zoom in and out. Okay. Now I'm going to come down this way and I'm going to make this vertical dimension here. Look, the line is following my cursor. The line is following my cursor here. So I'm going to come straight down and I'm going to make sure, though, that this line is going to be perfectly vertical. So I'm going to type in 0.875 and I'm hitting my tab key. Again, I don't expect you to memorize any of this. I just kind of want you to watch. And then I'm going to make this angle 90. Let's see what happens when I make it 90 degrees. Oops, we thought it would be 90, right? I don't want that. So this is good that I messed up because I can come up here and show you where the undo button is. Click on undo and I can go back to line, go to line again, and I'm going to hover right there at that point and I'm going to come straight down. And now, again, I'm going to make this 0.875, but now my angle should be on 90 degrees. I'm going to type in 90 here. All right, now it's perfect. It's 90 degrees from the horizontal. I'm going to come over this way. All right. And let's make this, I don't know, we'll make this 1 inch as well. Actually, that step is not as far. Maybe 8.75. And I'm going to come down and make this 0.125. Again, I'm just estimating here. I can always go back and change these later. Now I'm going to show you another trick. I'm going to intentionally make the line at an angle like this. I don't want it to be. And then I'm going to close my profile. Okay, notice that line is at an angle. I don't want that. If I go up here, look, if I go up here to my menu items, there is this constraint called horizontal. If I click on that and then click on the line, look what it did. It made it perfectly horizontal. All right. Now I'm going to do a right click OK. I am a little concerned about having two separate lines here. That was not my intention initially, but Mr. Morris, how can I fix that? Because remember, we said we want a closed profile, and it is closed, but I don't like the fact that there's two lines here representing this vertical line. So I'm going to hit the left mouse button and delete this one, and watch. I'm going to delete that one. And now I'm going to go back to line, select line again, and I'm going to click right here, and I'm going to click right. Notice how the line or the cursor snaps to the endpoints. It turns green. I'm going to do a left click, right click. Okay. All right. Now here's where the magic happens. Okay. This is not exactly what's shown on your drawing, but it's a representation of that. So I can select finish sketch. We have to finish the sketch before we can make a 3D model. So I'm going to select finish sketch and then select finish sketch again. Now notice I can't see my geometry. What do? Well, I can rotate my scroll wheel. I can rotate my scroll wheel like this, hold down the scroll wheel and move the mouse, and then I can rotate the scroll wheel again to zoom in. This is called extrusions. So look, I'm gonna click on extrusion. Watch what happens. Here's the magic. It has selected that closed profile, right? So I'm going to come here and say, okay. Now, that is not quite what we have, but that's okay. But let me show you something kind of neat here. What if I want to change this dimension right here? Maybe maybe that's too long. Maybe I want to make it a little bit smaller, right? What I can do, watch very carefully, is I can go to where it says, this is the browser, and this is the extrusion. If I expand the extrusion and come to where it says sketch 1, I'm going to right click on sketch 1, and I'm going to edit the sketch. Now, this is where I can change my dimensions. I can double click on a dimension, and I can change this to, let's say, 0.625. That's a nice number. Click on the green check mark, and maybe after doing that, you say, well, maybe I'll make it 0.5. You double click on the dimension again, so you can design, you can change your geometry while you're thinking about what you want to do. And I'm going to hit the green check mark. And now I like that better. So I'm going to finish the sketch. Look, it automatically updated for me. All right. We'll do one more thing here, and then we'll do the second. Mr. Morris, how do you save this as a picture file? Well, this is kind of boring. I don't like this is the generic material. I would like to designate a material for it. All right. Here's the beauty of this. If I go to the browser, this is called the browser. It actually lists in order the things you do. It's going to list in order all the things that you do. All right. So I'm going to right click on the file name. Right now, I tell you what, we'll go ahead and say file and save as, and I'm going to call this problem. Actually, what I'm going to call is ISO-problem-1. ISO-problem-1. And I'm going to just save that. Notice on the browser right here, look, it did change the file name. Okay, it did change the file name. But I want to change the material properties of this. How do I do it? I'm going to go to the file name, right click on this. I'm going to go to iProperties and I'm going to go to physical. All right. What does my material say? It says it's generic. I'm going to arrow down. Mr. Morris likes gold. I'm going to select gold. And I'm going to apply, close. All right. That's one of the first parts. It's not quite, but it's close because I don't have exact dimensions to work towards. Okay. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to show you how to save this as a picture file. Maybe you're doing a PowerPoint presentation, or you're writing a paper in Word and you got a figure that you want to include, right? Or you're doing an Excel document and you got a figure that you want to include in your Excel document. Here's how you do it. Or one other thing, what if you want to send your design idea to someone who doesn't have CAD? They can't open up a CAD file. They can't open up a CAD file. So what you can do is you can send them a PNG, which is a picture file, or a PDF. So let's say I'm going to send this to one of you guys and you don't have the software yet, but you have a computer at home and you can open up the PNG. So I'll go File, Export, and we're going to select here Image. And we're going to come over here. There's some options here. There's other options. There's bitmap, and there's GIF, JPEG. I'm going to select PNG. To me, PNG seems like it has a nicer quality. Save. Now, I have saved that, and I'll show you later that I can pull up this as a picture. I don't want to do it now because I don't want to stop my share on the screen because I'm making a video. Any questions with that one? All right, problem 2. Watch this. I'm going to go to File, New, English, or you can select Metric, Standard IPT, because we're making a part file, and Create. Now we're going to be designing in this class a lot of things that we're going to be machining. Okay, that's the way the real world works. You design it, then you make it. That's what we're going to do. We're going to design the part. We'll probably make a drawing on Tuesday of the first part that you're going to make in the machine class. Okay, now I'm going to go to Start 2D Sketch. Start 2D Sketch. I'm going to select the XY plane. I'm going to hold down the scroll wheel and pan. Now watch. I'm just going to use whatever dimensions come to mind. I'm going to go up here. I don't know, let's say 0.5 and then 90. Maybe I'll come this way, 0.5. I'm gonna go up here. I'm drawing that profile. I'm drawing that profile. I'm gonna go up maybe 1.5 here. Maybe 0.75. Come over this way. I don't know, 0.375. Come down like this. Actually, it goes a little bit further. I'll make it 1. And then 90. Sorry, my mouse keeps moving. Okay, there we go. 0.5. Then 90. Enter. And then I'm going to come down to the x-axis. See how it snaps to the x-axis. Click. And I'm going to go back to the origin. Click. do a right click with your mouse, a right click, select OK. That means I'm done with my sketch for right now. I'm going to finish my sketch, finish the sketch, and I'm going to zoom out with the scroll wheel. I'm going to pan, select extrude, and I'm going to leave it. I think that looks good. I'm going to leave it at 1 inch. Well, I'll tell you what. Let me show you how to change it. Make it 0.875. Okay. See, I just changed that distance right there. Select OK. Now we have a rounded corner here. We have a rounded corner. We go up here, we can select fillet. Now, a fillet is actually an internal rounded corner, not external. But for Inventor, we have to use it for both internal corners and external. So we have a corner here, right? Two different surfaces, a sharp 90 here, and we want to make it rounded. I'm going to leave the dimension 0.125 and click on it and see. I think that actually looks pretty good. So I'm going to leave it like that. Now, if we want to, again, we're going to save this problem. Go to File, Save As. I'm going to type in ISO dash problem dash 2. All right. And I'm going to save it. Now, let's add some color to this. Or go up here to where the file is listed on the browser. We're going to do a right click on that. We're going to go to iProperties. We're going to go to physical and see where the material says generic. Well, we're going to make this steel alloy. Okay, apply and close. Look, it looks like a piece of steel. See that? It does look like a piece of steel. Now, up here, the top right-hand corner is our view cube. I kind of quickly introduced this to you the other day, but you can click on, that's the front. That's the front. Click on this arrow. That's the right side. Click on this arrow. That's the back. That's the left side. I can also click on these arrows. That shows me the top. That shows me the back. That shows me the bottom, the front again. I can also click on the corners, and that will show me the isometric views. Okay. I can also click on the bottom corners. All right. So that's that one. All right. Now, since I didn't close out my first part, here it is. There's my first part, and here's my second part. Now, why do you need to learn how to make these? Well, you're going to make a 3D drawing first, or a model, excuse me. This is not a drawing. Do not get this confused. I just said drawing, but it's not a drawing. This is a 3D model. A drawing is where you show the different views and you show the dimensions of the part. That comes later. First, you have to model what it is. This is like almost conceptualizing what it is you want to build or design. And then you dimension it, and then you give it to the machinist to make it. And guess who the machinist is going to be? You. Okay. All right. That's problem 2. I'm going to go to File, New, English, select Standard IPT, select Create, go to Start 2D Sketch. See, it's the same process every time. Start 2D Sketch, and I'm going to click on the XY plane, and I'm going to pan over some. Now, this time I'm going to use the rectangle icon. So select rectangle and select 2-point rectangle. I'm going to click here. and I'm gonna drag out a rectangle like this. So maybe I'm gonna make this, I don't know, 1, and then come over and make this 0.75. There is my rectangle. I'm gonna do a right click and select OK. All right, so I have a rectangle here. It's a 1 by 3/4. All right. Now, I'm going to give some thickness to this. I'm going to watch this. Finish the sketch. Finish the sketch. I'm going to zoom out. How do you do that? Rotate the scroll wheel. I'm going to pan. I'm going to extrude. I'm not going to extrude this way. I want to extrude in the opposite direction. So I'm going to click on this arrow right here. I don't want it to be that thick either. So maybe I want to make this, I can play with this thickness a little bit. Maybe I'll make it 0.375. Maybe even a little bit less than that, maybe 0.25. And I like that better. I like that better. And I'm going to select OK. All right, now look, even though that's my front view, look how quickly I can make this into my top view isometric. Watch. Look here. I want it to look like what's on the paper. All I have to do is click here and click here, and that's the orientation of my part. Now I'm going to do a start 2D sketch, start 2D sketch. This time I want to sketch on this surface right here. All right. Now I want to get back in my isometric view that I was at. All right. I'm going to go to rectangle, watch. I'm going to rectangle, 2 point, and I'm going to draw an arbitrary rectangle like this. Look. See a little arbitrary rectangle I drew? And if I'm not, I can always hold down the left mouse button and hold and hover over the line, and I can reposition those. Now I want to add some dimensions. Watch. We haven't had dimensions before. The reason I'm using dimensions now is because I want to make it the same. So I'll make it see what 0.2 looks like. 0.2 is too much. Maybe 0.15. Oh, 0.15 looks good. Now watch, I'm gonna do the same thing for the other side. Click on this line, click on this edge, and click, place my dimension, and I'm gonna make it 0.150 and the green check mark. Now, I still need one more dimension. I have to define what this dimension here. Click on this edge, click on this edge, and we're going to make this 0.150 as well. All right, now, notice I have this sketch here. Watch, this is really nice. I'm going to finish my sketch, and I'm going to extrude this. Look. But I'm gonna go the other direction and select OK. All right. Does that kind of look like the part a little bit so far? Now I want to put a hole in here, okay, a circle, which we're going to make it turn into a hole. I'm not going to use the hole function right now because we're learning extrusions. I'm going to start 2D sketch. You notice every time I'm starting with a sketch, start 2D sketch, and I'm going to click on this face and watch what Mr. Morris is going to do here. I want to click on circle and circle center point. Now here's the magic, watch. Now, if I hover with my mouse, you'll see a little green dot appear. When you see a little green dot, don't click, just hover and move your mouse slightly like this. And if you don't want to lose the line, but the line is telling you that's a ghost image of inferred. It's an inferred line. I call it a ghost image of a line because it's not a real line. That's telling me that the circle is centered. Click, and I'm going to drag out a circle of arbitrary diameter, left click, do a right click, okay. When you finish the sketch, you have to do a right click to okay. All right, now, I like where the circle is at for the most part. If I click on this dimension here, dimension tool, and dimension those 2 points, I'm happy with that dimension. That's in the middle. I know it's in the middle because I snapped to the midpoint earlier. So I know that dimension is correct. But what if I want to dimension this one? Well, that's not a bad dimension. That's 0.4250. But I'm going to delete that one, right? You have to say okay, and then right click delete. I want to know what this dimension here is, from here to here. I'm going to accept it for right now. It's got parentheses around it because it's a reference dimension. So what's half of 0.850 is 0.425, right? 0.425 is half of 0.850. If I go to my dimensioning tool, and lo and behold, that's exactly what it's not quite. Look, it's not quite. So I can change it to 0.425 and select the green check mark. Do a right click, okay, and I'm going to delete this dimension here. All right, now I have to do one more thing. I have clearly defined where the center is. Okay, I have clearly defined where the center is. Now I need to change the diameter of the circle. I'm going to make this 0.5. So look, I have dimensions. Pay close attention to this now. I have dimensions that define the center of the circle from this edge and from this edge. And then I have the diameter of the circle, or it's going to be a hole here soon. What I'm going to do is I'm going to finish the sketch, and I'm going to extrude. Look what it did. It selected the last profile, right? It selected the last profile that I drew, which was a circle. It's a closed profile, right? So I'm going to change the direction of the arrow. Look what happens when I flip it right here. If I flip this, for those who've had Tinkercad experience, watch, I'm going to click here and it now makes a hole. I'm going to select OK. All right. Now I'm going to file. I'm going to save as, and I'm going to save this as ISO. Sorry. Dash problem dash 3. Okay. And I'm going to save this. I don't know if I'm going to do all these problems. I might do a couple more. I'll do the toolbox and I'll let you select the next one. I'm going to do the toolbox after this one. And then you ask me which one, or you tell me which one you want me to do. All right. So here's the part, right? I want to change the material. Remember, you go up to the file name and you do a right click and you go to iProperties, physical. I know I'm throwing a lot at you today because you're not on the computer yet. But once you get on the computer, I'm going to slow down significantly, right? And I'm going to talk you through this and you're going to follow me as I design stuff. The material here, I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to pick something really different this time. Let's see. How about cherry wood? Apply. Actually, maple, let's see what maple looks like. That's rubber there. I'm just looking at some different materials before I decide to change this. Concrete. I'll leave it as concrete. All right. But that's supposed to be the material designation of concrete. Okay. It doesn't look like concrete to me. All right. So you want me to do the toolbox next? Yes. Okay. I'll do the toolbox next, and then you can pick one more that you let y'all pick which one you want me to do. Again, all these drawings, again, I use the word drawings again. Shame on Mr. Morris. It's not a drawing, it's a model. This is a model. It's a 3D model. From the models is where we make the drawing. We actually download the model to make the drawing itself. All right, I'm going to do the toolbox, which is problem 4. Look here, File, New, English, Standard IP. Look, it's the same procedure every time, right? Create, Start 2D Sketch, Start 2D Sketch. Click on your plane. All right, now, Mr. Morris is going to sketch out what I think this toolbox looks like. So I'm going to go to line, line. And I'm going to make, this is going to be a very small, actually I can make it somewhat, make it 4 inches and rotate the scroll wheel. Come up like this. Let me undo that. I think it would be better to use rectangle. Okay, let me try this again. Sorry about that. I'll make this, and I'll make it 4. Actually, I'm gonna make it 6 that way and 4 that way. Right click, okay. Now, I'm gonna draw a line right here at the midpoint. We'll click. This is a construction line only. I don't know, I'm gonna go up maybe, I don't know, 3 inches maybe. Right click, okay. Now I'm gonna draw a line. Click on this intersection, click on that endpoint, and click on that endpoint. I didn't like my last line. I'll try that again. Now look here, that looks kind of like a house, right? So far, but it's not a house. It's going to be my toolbox. I can promise you that. I'm going to delete some lines here. If I right click on this line, I can delete it because I don't need it. I can also click on this line and delete it. I don't need it. All right, now I'm going to get an isometric view. Watch what happens. I'm going to finish the sketch. I'm going to extrude this. I'm going to go in the opposite direction. And I'm going to add a dimension of, I don't know. Let's see. You can kind of play it by ear. Maybe 10. Select OK. All right. Now, what I'm going to do now, this is a rounded edge at the top. It's not, it doesn't come to a sharp point like that. It doesn't come to a sharp point. So I can go to fill it, and I can click on that edge, and I can play with this dimension. Let's say that's 0.125. What does 0.25 look like? Still too small, right? 0.5. Maybe more than that. Maybe 1. Yeah, I like 1. I like 1 better. Okay. All right, now the wall thickness on this, I'm gonna make it consistent. So I'm gonna go to Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start 2D sketch, start 2D sketch. I'm gonna click on this face right here. Now I'm gonna draw a rectangle like this. Look. Actually, we can probably come down. I'm gonna put some dimensions in here. I'm gonna make this 0.5. Make this 0.5. And I'm going to make this 2.5. Now watch what happens. I'm gonna get an isometric view. Mr. Morris, that's not even on the part. I know. I'm gonna finish the sketch. Finish the sketch. I'm gonna extrude. I don't want to go this way. If I go this way, I'm going to add more material to the part. I'm going to flip it. And say, okay. All right, now I'm getting somewhere with my toolbox. And now what I want to do is I want to hollow out this bottom here. And what I can do is I can use what they call the shell. Look here, click on shell. And I'm going to click on, I'm going to give a thickness of 0.5. And it says, what face do I want to remove? I want to remove this face. And I'm going to select, okay. All right. So I have one more thing to do. I got to put the handle in here. I'm going to start a 2D sketch, click on this face. I need to find out where my center is here. See, that's an arc. Where's my center of the arc? If I go to project geometry, click on project geometry, and click on this, see, it gives me a center point. Now I can go in here and I can add, let's say we'll make that, let's see, 1 inch too big. No, that looks okay. Right click, okay. Now, I'm going to extrude this. But I don't want to subtract. See, I don't want to put a hole through there. In the real world, you would. In the real world, this would not be all one solid piece. You would have the toolbox made out of sheet metal, and then you would have a hole here where you could add a handle. I'll show you how to make assemblies later too. You know, you can do parts, you can do assemblies, you can do animation, you can do stress analysis type of things with this software. All right. Now let's say, Mr. Morris, I didn't want to make that handle that big in diameter. How do I change it? Go over here to the browser. If I hover, that's extrusion 3. Watch this. I'm going to expand it. Right click on sketch 3 and edit the sketch. Come over here, double click on that, and let's say make it 0.75. Click on the green check mark, and I'm going to finish the sketch. Finish. There you go. See, it automatically updates. Now, I'm going to do a right click on here. Actually, I'm going to file, save as, and we're going to call this ISO dash part problem 4. Save. All right. Now we want to give this different material. Go to physical. See, right now the material is generic. Arrow down, and we'll find something that we like. I don't like that one. There's your toolbox. File, save as. All right. Now you tell me which one you problems 5 through 6, excuse me, 5 through 8, you would like me to model next. 6. All right, I can do 6. So we're going to go File, New, English, Standard IPT, Create, Start 2D Sketch, Start 2D Sketch. Click on this phase. I'm going to use rectangle this time. Watch. A rectangle 2-point center. I'm going to click right at the center, and I'm going to drag out this rectangle, and I'm going to make it, I don't know, a 1.5, maybe. Oh, sorry. Maybe I'll make this 2, and then 1.5. So right click, okay, I don't like the 1.5. I can double click on that dimension, double click on it, and maybe make it 1.25. Or double click one more time, 1.125. Select the green check mark. All right. Now, I like that. So I'm going to basically finish the sketch. I'm going to extrude. I'm not going to extrude in that direction. I'm going to change direction. And I'm going, later on, you'll see why I change direction each time. It has to do with CNC programming. That's why. I'm gonna make this 0.5. That looks okay. Select okay. All right. Now, I got this little cutout down here. Look, start 2D sketch, start 2D sketch. Click on this. I'm going to go to rectangle, 2-point rectangle. Look, click here and click here. Do a right click OK. I'm going to dimension from here to here. I'm going to make that, I don't know, 0.1875. And I'm going to dimension over here and make that the same amount. And I'm going to click from here to here. Okay, finish the sketch. If I don't change the direction, it's going to add that material. So that's why I changed the direction. Select OK. And now we need to sketch on this surface. And I'm just going to draw something. I'm going to draw a line from this point. And I'm going to come down here. Now I'm going to see what this dimension here is. It's 1. So maybe I should make that dimension here. Here. Make it 1. That's way too much, right? So I can double click on that and maybe make it 0.75. That looks okay. Okay. All right. Now I think I'm happy with that. Now watch what happens. It has to be a closed profile, or should be a closed profile. But it might work in this case, and it is. It's a triangle that we removed. You could actually physically draw a triangle. That's not exactly that part, but the idea here is if I gave you actual dimensions, you could make it exactly the same. File. Save as, and we're going to call this ISO dash problem dash, this is problem 6. Save. All right, so file, we've already saved it. Now I got to come over here to the browser. I'm going to do a right click here, and I'm going to go to properties, and we need to give it a material. This is brass soft yellow, bronze cast. I don't like that. I'm just trying some different ones here. Um, you can also do glass, believe it or not. That's a piece of glass. So you can see through it. Okay. I'll just leave it as a piece of glass. I thought that's pretty cool. File, save. All right. So what I like for you to do, since you do not have access to Inventor yet, plus I need to take you through each one of these slowly. We're going to be doing different parts anyway. We're going to be doing parts that we're going to be machining, but it's the same idea. Okay. So I'm going to stop my share and close the video out, and I will see my online folks a little bit later. So let me end this.